really great. We've got summer break done, parents' vacations with children during the summer. Let's talk about those other school breaks.
Okay, so of course, the most common other school break is the winter break during the Christmas holidays, but most people also experience spring break. Sometimes there's a midwinter break.
Fall break.
Right, in some jurisdictions there's even a fall break, depending on the way the school year is in your geographic location. And what I tell clients first and foremost is, where do you put your vacations? And if you're the family that takes vacation time in the summer, then we're going to look at the other school breaks in terms of who's actually off from work. And a lot of times your work schedule is going to dictate what these other breaks are going to look like.
So are you saying then that they could actually write it that during the school breaks could just be per their school residential schedule, that there doesn't actually need to be any call out or any change in the structure for their kids?
Wherever it may fall, whichever parent happens to be the duty parent in that given holiday or that
during that
break.
During that
break, right,
okay.
They will take that. Another option sometimes is to just stop where they are and share that break. So I've had people say, if my weekend is automatically the weekend before and the other parent has the weekend after, let's find a transition time midweek where it still incorporates our already scheduled weekend, but maybe we have a few extra days with the kids in that week in between.
That's a nice way to share the burden of childcare, if that should be part of the issue too. If we both need to work, then okay, I'm going to take off 2.5 days. You're going to take off 2.5 days. Our kids are going to have a great experience, but neither one of us is carrying the complete burden of that childcare needs.
Right. And another option too is to just alternate the breaks. Just again being flexible and cooperative. It doesn't really matter who has the children when for the school schedule. They will actually stop and perhaps take the entire week off and have a vacation, such as spring break is fairly popular to do that, as well as winter break. Sometimes there'll be family traditions that are incorporated into a holiday that falls within a break, and we want to be mindful of those. Other times maybe we're creating new traditions within those breaks. So is there anything else you'd like to say about the break piece?
Yeah, the piece that I like to add is that oftentimes the parents that I'm working with, they do often want to just have their residential schedule run through the breaks because they don't have 6 weeks of vacation time to use and take off all this time. If they can, that's wonderful. But the bigger point is, I have them write that it's going to be per residential schedule unless they want to travel, at which point they can cue the other parent, and with priority, in other words, this year you have priority to travel at midwinter and I have priority to travel at spring. I can say to you by January 20th, hey, this year I'm going to travel over spring break. And that way you'll know we're going to break out a pattern. I'm going to take the kids to my mother's, okay? And you're just going to know that's going to happen. And I have priority to travel at spring break. And you might say, well, we're not going anywhere for midwinter. It'll just be per residential schedule. And again, we have that conversation at that business meeting in January where we make plans for this second semester of school and look at those scheduling issues that are bound to come up.
Right. And you make a good point about the child care in that, say it's a child's mother's time to have midwinter break. She doesn't get off work. The child now is not in school, which has been the de facto child care provider during the work schedule. What do you do for handling child care issues when both parents are working but the children are not in school?
Right. Well, sometimes that does mean we're taking a trip to grandma's or some relative's house. And of course, anymore, the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Clubs or many of those community-based nonprofit groups in our communities actually have programs for kids because they realize that parents who need to work, kids are out of school, and they need a very safe and comfortable and playful place for kids to have their school breaks.
Right. And again, we go back to focusing on what's the child's experience during a break.
Right.
Right.
Beautiful.
So next we're going to be talking about the all-important holidays, and there are a lot of those.
You're absolutely right. So keep in mind, we're doing that nesting piece. The river, we just talked about all the different kind of breaks, summer and school breaks. We're now going to come back and we're going to talk about holidays.